And thanks for allowing me to present this morning. I was just noticing the tagline on the 1 million cup sign, building communities. That's what we're working on too. So I'm very excited to share with you what we're doing. We've been very quiet about what we've been doing, and it's time that we start promoting it and talking about it and spreading it. By way of background, I'm a Twin Cities native. I got my bachelor's degree in computer science from the University of Minnesota back when you had to crank computers. I've got my master's from the Carlson School in Business Administration, and I've completed my coursework for a PhD in health informatics, focusing on home telecare. How do we get telehealth to the home? Okay. Been with companies like Honeywell, Gelco Corporation, which was acquired by GE Capital. And then about 25 years ago, I joined United Health Group when it was a much smaller company than it is today. And I created and directed their advanced technologies operations, and I became their international CIO. So at a time when managed care was emerging and they were trying to figure out how do we leverage information technology, I like to think that our work helped establish United as the technology leader of managed care. So that was many years ago. By the way, if you're familiar with Caring Bridge, I was on the board of Caring Bridge for 6 years, a great organization, and I was on the board of DARTS, a Dakota County senior services organization, for 6 years also. Okay, enough about me. Let me talk about community oxygen. This all started about, 1996. I had just left United Health Group. I was looking out at the future, thinking about what I want to be doing, where I might be able to help, what impact I might be able to have. And it really started with two questions. First of all, I recognized I'm a baby boomer. There's a whole hell of a lot of us, and we're going to start overwhelming the systems. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be forced to move out of my home. We built a beautiful home in Eden Prairie. We've been there ever since. I want to be able to stay there as I age. And how can I do that as opposed to being forced into assisted living or other kinds of worse yet, a nursing home, because I'm not able to engage with the community in an appropriate way, okay? So back then I started thinking about, okay, all of us baby boomers and everyone else, how are we going to be able to stay longer in our own homes and live a quality life, a healthy life, as best as possible, at the lowest possible cost? Start thinking about that. Also, because my background in healthcare and my interest in telehealth, telemedicine, I was looking at, okay, we've had the tools for decades to be able to have a televisit with a clinician, a doctor, a nurse, a pharmacist, a therapist. Why isn't it happening? And how do we get there? And how do we make it ubiquitous so that everybody from their own home or wherever they happen to be could have a video visit or engage in other ways with their clinicians to have the best possible care in their own home when possible? Okay. Those two questions have kind of driven this over the years. And so over the years, since 1996, I've been cooking these concepts, and I know a lot of very smart people, and they've helped move this along. They've added ideas, concepts, critiques, outright criticisms, and it's gotten better and better. And we created a predecessor company that in 7 communities tested out pieces of this concept over the years, over the last 9-10 years. A year ago, we created Commun 2, Community Oxygen, which is our go-to-market company, and it is a fresh start with based upon all the lessons learned over that time frame. Okay, and we created 2 things. The first thing we're calling a super app, and the second thing is a unique community deployment model. Our super app, if you look at your phone, you look at your tablet, you probably have dozens of apps on there, each of them unique, none of them working with each other, each with their own user interface, most of them with little or no support. Okay, for somebody who's got limited abilities, maybe they're older, they're less tech savvy, how can we make that all easier, better, integrated, and make it usable, consumable? And how can we bring it to everybody across the community? That's what we're calling a super app. It has a lot of the functions of many kinds of apps integrated into one very usable, consumable system. And I'll show you a little bit about that. And then our unique community utility model. I'll give you a little preview of where I'm going with this. We are currently in deployment in Michigan in 3 cities, 3 communities actually. Flint, Traverse City, and Gaylord, Michigan. Actually, countywide, we're doing this there in Otsego County, Michigan. This is a model to get everybody in the community engaged, not just the citizens, but the organizations, all the consumer-facing organizations in a community, so that if I want to have a video visit, for example, with my, let's say, 4 grandkids anywhere in the world, I can do that easily without a lot of help. If I want to have a video visit with my doctor, my nurse, my clergy, a social worker, a retailer, so they can take me around the store and show me things. How can we do that? That's our community deployment model. It's to get the community engaged. So, oh, and by the way, before I go on, all these folks participated in our pilot in Otsego County, which was in 2015. They all have great personal stories about how they benefit from this system and why they think it's great for humanity. Let's put it that way. Okay. If I had time, I would show you their video clips. It may be a little difficult to see, but that circle with the 8 sectors, that dates back to 1996. First started thinking about all these sectors of life that are important to being able to have a happy, healthy, safe, aging experience, or just a quality life experience. We've looked at all 8 of those. We've looked at how we can help in all 8 of those, and that's what we're doing. So, Communal 2, let's talk about the super app. It's intended to engage people and get them to want to use it. If you look at that circle, the sections that are in purple, or whatever color that is, those are high interest kind of sectors. People engage with a technology or an app because of that. The ones in green are high, they may also be appealing for people, but they are high benefit, high value sectors, like healthcare, telehealth, okay? So I might engage with this super app because it lets me have a video visit with 4 grandkids at the same time, or because it lets me read ebooks or play games or do what we call virtual travel, where I can click into the Monterey Bay Aquarium and watch the jellyfish, or go out to Italy and watch the Rialto Bridge live. Lots of features in there, but then I know how to use it when I have a telehealth need, or I need to have a visit with my lawyer, my accountant, and maybe engage my daughter out in California in the same call. Okay, so that's the strategy. And over the years, I've learned that in order for people to embrace any new technology, you have to hit 5 things. It has to be easy enough for them to do it. It has to be safe enough. They feel safe using it. It has to be compelling. They have to have a reason to use it. It has to be supported so that they can get help when they need it. And it has to be affordable, either free or affordable. Any technology, I don't care whether it's air conditioning, microwave ovens, automatic transmissions, all these things had to be addressed somehow. And that applies in particular to getting older adults or people with limited abilities to embrace technology. But it applies to all of us too. Okay, so it's a single user interface for a wide variety of functions, single sign-on. It does support significant family connectivity and engagement, and we found a viral spread as a result of this, not just in our pilot communities, but then to family and friends all over the world. And it creates a community standard. So in these 3 communities to begin with, and in other communities that we go into, and by the way, I would love to do this in Indian Prairie as our first Minnesota community, or the adjoining communities, it's a standard for the community. And so now we don't have the issue of, well, I'd like to connect with my doctor, but he's on Skype, I'm on Zoom, or I'm on Uvu, or I'm on video, or I'm on FaceTime, whatever. How do you get a community standard so we can engage now? This creates a community standard, okay? And then we also have an enhanced technology to support all of these things. So we've created the tool set for a video-based call center so that you can be face-to-face with customer support. And they can bring up documents and help you or guide you or do for you. So if I forgot how to have a video call with 3 grandkids, they can help set up the call. They can look me in the eye and say, Joel, how can I help you? And I tell them what I want. They can do that and then drop off the call. That same tool set we're making available to all of the organizations that we're working with, whether it's a retailer that wants to be able to accept incoming video calls, or a law firm, or a church. Okay, so let me, I think I have to go back to here to do it, but let me show you just a couple of the screenshots. Oops, see, gotta do it there. I need tech support. But and I am a lot less technical than I used to be, I'll admit that. Yeah, if you could. And I can use left and right here, I think, for this now, at least for now. Okay, so let me just show you the main menu. We won't have time to go through much of this, but it'll give you a feel for what it can do. There we go. Okay, so imagine this is on your phone, your Android phone or your iOS, Apple phone, or it's on your tablet, or later on your web. So our web interface is coming a little bit later. Okay. Up in the upper left-hand corner, you see the Start button. Wherever you are in the system, Start takes you back to the beginning. What we've tried to do is create a very usable user interface that is simple enough for people that don't understand technology, but also robust enough and not insulting to people that do. Okay. So Start always brings you back to the beginning. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a flag. You click on that, and you can select any of the languages you want for presentation. So right now we're supporting 8 languages, the 8 most common languages in Minnesota, including Hmong, Somali, Spanish, certainly. And just select the language you want. Everything changes to that. The center section, where it says My Favorites, Call, that's actually, with your finger, you can just smooth scroll left and right to all the major function areas of the system. Okay, healthcare, file storage, what we call a virtual file cabinet, where in the cloud you can store any of your personal documents, family photos, videos, safely, securely, and encrypted, and you can give access to people that want it. So I won't take you through all the functions, but lots of functions, many of them designed to engage you, to seduce you, if you will, into wanting to use this app on a regular basis. Because then, if I have a healthcare need, or I have some other, I need to deal with my accountant, whatever, I know how to use the system. It's already in my hands. I'm using it on a regular basis, and it's no different from how I use it to engage with family or friends. Okay? I can click into my church and watch live streaming. I can have a video visit with the clergy if they're willing to do that. We've set it up so that you can have multiple cameras in the sanctuary, for example, or in a classroom like this. And the user has control over what camera they're watching when they want to watch it. Okay, so we've made that really simple and easy. Down in the lower right-hand corner is the Assistance button. You click on that, and there's several kinds of help available, including talk to a person, a live person, Midwesterner, friendly person, Minnesota, Michigan kind of person that can help you. Okay. All right. Let's go back, if I can. I'm going to need your tech help again. You see where it says index, if you can? Yep. Click that. And then down in the lower right-hand corner, there's a back to the slides. There, yep. All right, and if we go back to the 1 million cups bottom one. Great, thanks, and I can move forward from here now. Okay, so that's a quick view of the super app, and there's a lot to it, and we're adding more all the time, and we can link to other kinds of systems so people can get there safely. So, for example, if I want to go to Caring Bridge, and I misspell Caring Bridge, I don't know if it's hyphenated, I don't know if it's 2 words, if it's .com, .org, whatever. If I type it wrong into a browser, I'm likely to get hijacked to someplace I don't want to be. Through the menus, people can get safely where they want to go, to our own functions or to external functions. And so now let me talk about the Community Partnership Program. Our model is to deploy this as a standard for a community. Okay? And in those 3 cities, Flint, Traverse City, and Gaylord, we are working with the mayor, the city managers, the city councils, the chambers of commerce, the tourism boards, the faith community, the healthcare organizations, the area agencies on aging. We're working at that leadership level in those communities to say this is good for your community and this is why we should work together to bring it out free of charge to every resident as well as all their friends and family anywhere. Okay? And in those 3 communities, I have a slide about this, but we're working with some funding that we've been given. We are setting this up with 25 organizations in each city so that we have the critical mass of participating organizations that people can connect to and engage with. Okay? So a platform that has a wide range of functions that can support a whole community. We did a pilot, the Otsego County Commission on Aging. One of our pilots was in Gaylord, Michigan, where we set up these 14 organizations. 5 churches, 2 funeral homes, the Historical Society, the United Way. All these organizations participated in the pilot, which started in 2015 under this predecessor company. Okay, we had a target of 300 end users within 6 months. That's what we were trying for. In 4 months, we wound up with 1,800 users because of the viral spread and the interest and the benefits of what we're doing. I won't dwell on this, but all these dots are area codes where there was a user because of Gaylord, somebody back in Gaylord, Michigan, a family member that wanted to connect with their family and friends all over the world. Okay. I mentioned that organizations can also use our call center capability for their own purposes. So here's an example. It's a mock-up of a Walgreens website where we've added onto their website a video chat with us now button. So you've all seen the text chat buttons, text chat with us now. We've taken this to the next level. Each organization can have video chat if they want to. And video just increases the bandwidth of communications. I can look and see who's nodding and if they're confused or if they understand, and I can adjust the presentation as needed. Much better than phone or text chat. And wrapping up here, this is a little bit about what we're doing in Michigan. The funding came from the Michigan Health Endowment Fund, a wonderful organization that is helping to promote healthy aging and healthy living across Michigan. It's a 2-year initial program, 3 communities, the 3 that I mentioned, and as I also mentioned, 75 organizations, 25 in each community, will be able to participate free of charge in this program, and they'll be able to use all the tools of the platform to engage with the people that they support. We are targeting by the end of the second year 5,000 end users as a result of that. We anticipate 28,000 at the end of year 6, okay. Just from those 3 communities. And it's intended to improve the quality of life, the vitality, the vibrancy of the people and the organizations in the community, a community solution. To give you an idea, as we've been meeting with these leaders in the community, we've given them suggestions. You know, of the 25 organizations that can participate in your community, we'd suggest a broad mix, and here's the categories and quantities that we're suggesting. They, of course, are tailoring it to their own community. Each community is different. We've really learned that. And I will just briefly say that of these 3 major areas of trend of change, sorry. It's not going to go back. Oh, there we go. Oh.
Up or down?
I think I got one more back. Up. Well, let's go back. So, if I can. Okay. We're playing at the intersection. We're working at the intersection of these 3 major areas of trend, all of them under rapid change, a lot of impact for people, organizations around the world. We're working at the intersection, leveraging the technology and watching emerging technologies to say, how can we better help with the issues associated with the demographic changes and certainly the healthcare needs. Okay, so I wanted to just lay out for you what our needs are. We have 3 areas of need. We're looking to do this now in the Twin Cities. Michigan is a wonderful state, wonderful people. I want to do this in my community too, okay? So we're looking for 2 or 3 Twin Cities communities that want to be on the leading edge, become the best connected communities in the world, along with the 3 in Michigan. And so if you have the ability to connect us with leadership in, for example, a Twin Cities suburb, that'd be great. We are looking for additional software developers, but as with many startups, our resources are very limited, and so I'm looking for people that can take a little bit of risk with us. Okay. And then, of course, as a young company, we're looking for funding for expansion, but that's not our primary objective right now. Okay. We want to work with organizations that are able to fund and further this and help us spread it across the country and eventually across the world. So that's it.
Very good.
Thank you.
Questions for Joel?
Yes, KP.
So I might get this wrong, but to my brain, it sounds like this is more like a community-focused, community-sponsored live help desk for somebody who needs it.
Even more than that, much more than that. How can the retailers at Eden Prairie Mall continue to engage face-to-face with people wherever they are in the world? How can the attorneys, the law firms, the accountancies, the churches, the schools engage with people remotely better? Make it real simple, easy, affordable. How can you create a community standard? And if you understand the world of standards, once there's a standard, things can move and flourish. And there is no communication standard when it comes to video and other kinds of things that we're doing in a community. Once you establish that, okay, for these kinds of things, we're going to use this as a standard, a standard outlet for plugging in electricity, a standard light bulb shape, okay? Standards help things move ahead. So that's really what we're doing, is creating a standard that can support a wide range of functions.
So my question is, thanks for that. My question is, it sounds like it could overwhelm a user, right? I mean, how do you put boundaries, brackets around what you, so that I don't look at this app and then say, it's like the internet. I can go to Google and do exactly.
Yeah.
You see, I mean, it could be.
Yeah, it could be overwhelming. And that was some of the feedback we got from early testing. And so we did a number of things. One was we created the Video Support Center. If you ever need help, okay, screens are pretty intuitive. If you ever need help, there's somebody there happy to help you. Okay, first of all, don't hesitate to contact them. That was the first thing. The second thing is we made it all very easy, intuitive, and we engaged community in terms of, in Gaylord, Michigan, there's a group of older adults helping other older adults. They're teaching, they're helping install the app in the first place. And so that helped a lot too, engaging the community in the support. But then also beyond that, we, in this new version, we added what we call My Favorites. And so the very first button on the menu, either you can set it up, or your daughter can help you do it, or a neighbor can help you do it, or the call center can help you do it. You can gather into that first button the things that are most important to you. Your church, the people that you call, your family members on a daily basis, your pharmacy, the organizations that are important to you. Maybe, like I said, maybe you miss Venice and you'd like to watch live the Rialto Bridge in Venice. You click, as you're using the system or somebody sets it up for you, they can be gathered into My Favorites. You just hit that one button. You can ignore the rest of the system, and your stuff is there. As you're ready to embrace more, it's all there, it's all easy, and it works in the same user interface. You don't have to learn really anything different in order to do it. But very good question, because that was a key part of the user interface design for what we did. How can we make it so that we take away the intimidation factor and we don't make it overwhelming, but yet robust and full-featured? Yes?
So can I download the app right now?
Not yet. Nope. So right now it's in limited distribution to the people in those communities, the organizations in those communities, and their family and friends that they invite to participate. We've also done a lot to protect people, the individual consumer, with this. There's no ads. There's no spam. We're not collecting and selling your data. We're a conduit to get your information. Maybe you take your blood pressure at home and you want it in your medical record at your health system. We can be the secure conduit through which it flows, but we're not holding data that you don't ask us to hold. Okay. But soon it'll be in general release, and then anybody anywhere will be able to do that. We need to ensure that we're funded well enough to be able to take on the scaling that needs to occur. But we are designed for that kind of scalability.
What's your biggest competition focused on this particular product?
When people first look at this, they say, "Oh, it's like Skype," because there's a video call component to it. And yeah, if you combine Skype and 20 other things, maybe it's like that. Okay, so as far as we know, we have not found anything close to this. There are older systems, or there are other systems rather, that have maybe large buttons for older adults that can help them do a video call or play a game or send an email. So there are systems like that, and they're great systems, but we have not yet found anybody that's created essentially the same kind of a super app that we're creating. created the video support capabilities that we've created, or with a community deployment model like we have. The closest thing we find on the community deployment model is nextdoor.com, which has a totally different orientation.
I recently came across a software called Flock. I don't know if anybody else has heard of it. You might want to look at that. That's in a category that I would call, by your definition, near super app.
Okay. Monitoring, what else is out there? What can we learn from? What can we do better? Where can we partner versus having to build? So yeah, thank you.
And
I'll
you
take it.
talk about your distribution. What's your planned distribution?
Our distribution channel is very interesting because think about these three communities. In these communities, the arts organizations, the churches, the city hall, and the different organizations in the community, they all have consumers that they interact with. They're saying to those consumers, this is the way to interact with us for these new methods of communication. So in Gaylord, for example, where we've been doing this now for a couple of years, the Sunday morning, the priest, the pastor stands up there and says, of course we want you in the pews, but if you can't be here, or you have a child stationed overseas, or someone away at school, or you're a snowbird, this is how we want you to stay connected and engaged with our community. Be a part of us. And it is a unique model of engagement. So the distribution channel is, we're working with a key partner in each of the communities. In Flint and Traverse City, it's the Area Agencies on Aging. In Otsego County, it's the Commission on Aging there. They have convened the community, the leadership of the community. They've opened the doors to the people we needed to meet with, who are now on board and saying to their constituencies, this is a good system that we are, I want to be careful to use the word endorsing, but we are working with, and you're welcome to engage with us in new and better ways. We've also found that the spread through family is amazing. If this is a tool that grandma is able to use, lets her stay connected with the world, lets her stay connected with family, and now grandma says, okay, I want to have video visits with the grandkids, or I want to share photos with them or whatever, the family gets on board, okay? And they could be anywhere, and they can use it. It's hard to peel that out of a family once you've got them using it. It will be hard to take this out of a community once it's in a community, because it becomes the standard for the community. That's the not just the distribution, but also the stickiness aspect of it. And a competitor may come along with a comparable kind of system, but in the communities where we've already established a footprint, I think it'll be very hard for a competitor to make penetration there. But like with the phone systems, we would certainly look at connecting of networks. If there is a competitor that has a similar system, they're in these communities, we're in these communities, let's see about linking up and being able to exchange communications.
Maybe one more question?
Yeah.
I feel for you. I go into the Apple store and watch the little classes that they're holding, and it's got a little card sitting around the table, not having a clue what it's talking about. And I feel like that's kind of what you're up against. You've got the greatest mousetrap that's been invented, but how do you get that message across? Can you incorporate the 20-somethings or the 30-somethings who know this stuff off the top of their head and can figure out how to dance through your program, and have them get involved with helping mom or grandma do the magic stuff that your ad offers?
Yeah, certainly, and in working with like the volunteer agencies in these communities, we will be doing that. But let me add another bit of information. One of our partners in this is Michigan State University, their School of Social Studies, Social Research. And they have been working in Gaylord, the community that we're working with, on a previous project. They did research that identified that older adults learn best from other older adults, not from 20-somethings, okay? And, yes, 20-somethings can help a lot of people, and that's great, and we want to encourage that. But in Gaylord, they've created a peer support organization, okay? They call them peer tutors, older adults who have a little bit of tech understanding that can come into somebody's home and help them, or in a classroom setting help them. And older adult helping older adult. That's very, very effective. We're expanding, and we're planning to leverage that experience and bring that to Traverse City and into Flint and to the other communities. So we're learning new things in each community that we work in, how to get better, how to help, and there's cross-fertilization. We're going to be connecting up, for example, arts organizations in Flint, and you may or may not know this, but there's some great arts organizations that will be participating on this. Those arts organizations will now be accessible to all the other communities and the users worldwide that we engage with. So tutoring, helping, supports, yes, definitely we want to engage the younger people in the community, but that's not the only solution. And one of the videos that I don't have time to show you right now, it's a great one of an older adult tutoring I think she's a third grader, who was having trouble in school. And they could only get together once in a while, but through our platform, they are engaging on a frequent basis, and it's one of the cutest videos I've ever seen. Yeah.
All right, so a round of applause for Joel.
Thank you.